Life Journal, Episode 1, Dear 2024, a heartfelt narration. Sometimes life humbles you down in a way that you never expect, by pushing you in a certain scenarios, by making few losses, by giving only failures in whatever you try, where you had to go through all kinds of rough patches all alone without any help in the dark. It gives you a whole different perspective about living, about the people around you, about the people whom you thought that you are also one of the most important persons in their life. Sometimes it even makes you question your own existence, makes you feel worthless, doubtful, frustrated, makes you cry to really test whether you have your own hands first to wipe your tears than expecting anyone else's. That's the kind of year 2024 has been so far looking back on. Personally, you have gone through a lot. Whatever you have wished for was always a toss in the air. You were only hoping that task falls in your favor, which is unfortunately not. There were days where you had no energy or interest to even talk to your own family because you didn't want them to realize that their son is suffering. There were days where you didn't want to wake up from the bed. There were so many days you skipped the breakfast and lunches, not because you didn't feel hungry, but you felt that the pain you had inside was nothing in front of hungriness. There were days you wished that you could have put yourself in priority spot. There were days where you wished for 48 plus hours of non-stop sleep, so that you won't face the reality for some time to accept and digest. There were days where you tried too hard to make yourself busy in the things that you absolutely love doing when you are in a normal state of mind. There were days where you were the one who loved too much. There were days where you bent down and was absolutely shattered, glancing a last look of your child's face at the crematory. There were days where you had to fake smile to let the opposite person know that you are okay. There were days where you were hated by the house owner for not being on time to close the main gate, and for that reason, they asked you to vacate. There were days where you felt like you were in a jail. There were days where you doubted yourself whether you should stop being yourself. There were days where you didn't even realize that the people you loved were not at all felt the way of what you felt. There were days where you only wished that people can be you. There were days where you shouted at the clouds and waves at the beach. There were days where you wanted to hit the bike somewhere while driving and realized that that was not at all you. There were days you just shed tears just by looking at the sculpture of the gods to give you the strength. There were days you stopped expecting something to happen in a way you wanted things to happen. What else you can do? How can you stop worrying about things which were absolutely not in your control? Was it your fault? Was it God's plan? Was it destiny? Were you not good enough? Were you not lucky? What it is? The beauty is, sometimes you don't need to look for answers. That's also a lesson to learn and to keep in mind going forward. There is something called proactive and reactive. Proactive means being prepared and being preventative. When things didn't go your way, even though you have given your 200%, that's when life teaches you to be a numb sometimes. Let things happen so that you can react. That's also a lesson to keep in mind. Even after all these things, it's kind of funny to answer the people who ask with curiosity how you look like a strongest person mentally. I think there are two reasons. Irrespective of whatever happens, I always choose to be myself. You don't give a damn about what others think of you or speak about you. You have got that unshakable confidence on yourself about your ability to come back so quickly to the state of mind of whom you are known for. You took the darest decision ever of your life in 2024 to let things go which was not giving you peace or happiness. When you look back years later, you should thank yourself and should be forever grateful for the psychologist who helped you to take that decision as well. Even though you talked a lot about the there were days kind of bad list, there were days you were fully pumped up to put up a fight against all the odds which were happening. There were days you vibed and danced like hell with full sound on Marshall even though you were in emotional pain. There were days you looked for hope, you visualized and manifested for the light at the end of the tunnel. There were days you rolled up your sleeves and said, "Tha paathukalam." There were days you made your parents proud. There were days where you took them on flight for the first ever time in their lives, which was a documented treasure for you for a lifetime. There were days you had to prove yourself in your workspace where you want to lose your job. There were days you have spent hours and hours in doing creative work that you absolutely love doing. There were days you released your first song in all the music streaming platforms. And there you are now, finding yourself again, stronger than ever, in finding joy in writing. This is you. I'm repeating you again. This is you. Never ever stop being yourself. Never ever stop writing. Never ever stop finding happiness in small things. Irani tea, Ilayaraja, writing, cricket. இது போதாதா உனக்கு நீ சந்தோஷமா இருக்க. Men are simple creatures டா. You're not an exception. 2025 எப்படி வேணா இருந்துட்டு போட்டோம். நீயா மட்டுமே இரு, அது போதும். என்ன நடந்தாலும் ரியாக்டிவாக இருக்க பழகிக்கோ. டோன்ட் காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் மச் ஆன் திங்ஸ். லெட் இட் ஹேப்பன். அலோ திங்ஸ் டு ஹேப்பன் ஸோ தட் யூ கேன் ரியாக்ட். தலைவர் ஒரு மாடு கதை சொல்லுவார், அதான் லைஃப். சில பிரச்சனையை உன்னால் தீர்க்க முடியும், சில பிரச்சனையை உன்னால் தீர்க்கவே முடியாது. டோன்ட் பிளான் டூ மச், டோன்ட் ஹாவ் விஷ் லிஸ்ட், ஜஸ்ட் ஃபீல் கிரேட்ஃபுல் ஃபார் வேக்கிங் அப் எவ்ரி டே. என்ன பிரச்சனை வந்தாலும் உயிர் இருக்கா சாவலில் அப்போ யோசிடா அப்படின்னு மங்காத்தா அஜித் ஸ்டைலில் சொல்லிட்டு போயிட்டே இரு. ஒன் டே அட் டைம், ஒரு தரம், ஒன் டே அட் டைம் 2 தரம், ஒன் டே அட் டைம் 3 தரம். எவ்வளோ சின்ன விஷயமா இருந்தாலும் உனக்கு பிடிச்சிருக்கா, ஹாப்பியா இருக்கா, எண்ட் ஆஃப் த டே அவ்வளோதான் மேட்டர். திங்ஸ் டோன்ட் நீட் டு ஃபால் இன் பிளேஸ். லெட் த சிப்ஸ் ஃபால் வேர் தே மே. குட் லக் ஆன் யுவர் லைஃப் ஜேர்னல் எபிசோட்ஸ். ஐ திங்க் திஸ் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எபிசோட் வில் பி a banger. Keep going.